Hi guys, we missed you today. I wanted to record this video for you because you missed class and it's our first day of Midsummer Night's Dream. That was anyways, I wanted to make sure that you understand what's going on in the story so that you understand and you get the same lesson that the other kids get. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to share my video, my screen here. And of course, I've not done this in so long. I'm going to have to remember how to do this. Share screen. Yep. Okay. And I want to show you some notes I made first. So today we're going to be starting A Midsummer Night's Dream. It is a play written by William Shakespeare. And hopefully you've already watched the videos before you're reading this. If not, stop this and go back and watch the other stuff first because it gives you a little bit of background information. But I wanted to make sure that you understood what's going on because it is written in Old English. It is the children's version, however, well, teen version. So it's still going to be hard to understand. So what I do is I give everybody parts, but we don't stand up here and play. And your part, you may get just the one part, or you might change your part throughout, depending upon how many kids want to read in your class. But I make these notes. So today we went over Act 1, Scene 1, and the setting is in midsummer. So that's midsummer would be July because we have June, July, and August. So midsummer is July. Night, it happens at night, and then there's going to be a dream. So we have Act 1, Scene 1, and we have Theseus. He's the Duke of Athens, and he's married to Hippolyta, who is the Queen of the Amazons. Now, you might have heard her in that, famous movie that just came out, Wonder Woman, and they were Amazon women. Well, back then, this all took place in ancient Greece, and of course, at night. And Hippolyta, the Queen of Amazons, the Amazons, it was actually a all-female group. They actually lost to the Athenians. So Theseus, the Duke or the King, basically, of Athens, decided to take their queen from them. Well, back then in the 1600s, when Shakespeare was writing this play, they had different rules and they acted different ways. So Theseus basically took her without permission, like saying, okay, we beat you, so I'm taking your queen. Well, they ended up luckily falling in love, and they're both happy about it, but they're both getting married in 4 nights. Then we have, back then they also had classes, first class, second class, and third class citizens. Of course, the first class citizens they had the most money, the wealthiest. Second class were the middle class, and then the third class, but you couldn't intermingle with the different classes. So first class had to stay with first class, second class had to stay with second, and third had to stay with third. And all of these people, of course, the Duke is first class, but all of these people that I'm introducing to you today are all first class citizens. However, there's just one more law or problem that they faced back then. In Athens law, you had to marry the man your father wanted you to marry, or become a nun, which is like with a religion, and basically you're marrying God, or you die. So those were the daughter's choices if she didn't want to marry the person her dad wanted her to. Back then, children weren't treated like we are treated nowadays, or you are like I was treated, or you were treated, or any of us were treated. They kind of treated them more as property. So if the girl didn't do what her dad said, he would go turn her in. So Aegeus is one of the main characters. He's a first class citizen of Athens, and he's Hermia's dad. And he wants his daughter to marry Demetrius, who is this guy over here. Problem is that Lysander is Hermia's boyfriend. So Lysander and Hermia both love each other, but Demetrius loves Hermia too. But here's where the little triangle comes in. We have Hermia and Helena, who are best friends, and we have Demetrius and we have Lysander, and they're good friends, and all 4 of them are good friends. And so Demetrius and Helena were dating, and Lysander and Hermia are dating, up until Aegeus, Hermia's dad, said, "Hey, Demetrius, I want you to marry my daughter." Well, the only reason he wants him to marry his daughter is because he doesn't know Lysander. And Hermia doesn't have the right to say, "Dad, I don't want to marry him. I'm in love with Lysander." And furthermore, he just doesn't care. So basically she says this, and he says, "Okay, so I'm going to take you to Theseus, and we'll figure out what your fate is going to be." So I'll make it a little bit taller. So then all of these friends are now all fighting with one another. And so once they go see Theseus, Demetrius and Aegeus go and talk to the Duke on their own. And so Lysander and Hermia come up with a plan to run away and get married. Will it work, or will Hermia be defeated by Athens' law? So I made this for us last year, and it goes along with an escape room that we're going to be doing at the end of this unit, right before spring break. So I hope that you enjoy it. I think you're going to love this book. It's fun. It's got tragedy. It's got fighting. It's got love. It's got everything. And it also has magic and fairies. So stay tuned. And I'm going to pull up right now. I'm going to have to change what I'm sharing my screen with. But these notes are also included in your Google Classroom down below underneath this video. I wanted you to have both. Okay, so now we are going to read, actually, Midsummer. Where is it? Where did it go? Here it is. So Midsummer Night's Dream. I'm going to stop sharing just to make sure that, and reshare, so I make sure I'm sharing and you can see what I'm sharing, the right thing. So here's our book. Everybody's going to have their own book, and it has the cast of characters in the front, but we'll talk about these. We talked about the ones that are being introduced today with the notes I just made and went over. And now I'm going to start reading. Now, every kid, like I said, they get a little part to read for that act and scene if they want to. But then I also go in with real English, understand that y'all understand and explain what's happening. So Act 1, Scene 1, A Midsummer Night's Dream. The scene is in the palace of Theseus, the Duke of Athens. As a warrior, Theseus fought against the Amazons. He defeated them and brought Hippolyta, queen of the Amazons, back to Athens with him. There he fell in love with her, and now they are to be married in 4 days' time. Theseus and Hippolyta enter. Now, fair Hippolyta, our nuptial hour draws near. 4 happy days brings in another moon. But oh, how slow this old moon wanes. Now, nuptial hour, boys and girls, means that they're getting married. So he's saying, "Oh, Hippolyta, I'm so excited. We're getting married in 4 days." But if you notice, he is constantly talking about the moon. That's because if you watch the Globe Theater video, you saw that their theater was open. The roof was open in the center, and they had to perform the plays during the day because they didn't have electricity and candles were too expensive. So throughout this play, he is going to be mentioning it's happening at night, so that the audience understands it's night and not during the day what they see. And Hippolyta, sometimes I say it's Hippolyta, but it's been said both ways. So 4 days will quickly pass the night. 4 nights will quickly dream away the time. So she's just saying, I'm excited, we're getting married. Aegeus, the citizens of Athens, enters with his daughter Hermia. They are followed by Lysander, Hermia's love, and Demetrius, who wants to marry her. Happy be Theseus, our renowned Duke. So he's saying, hello, Theseus, pleased to see you. And Theseus says, thanks, good Aegeus. What's the news with thee? And Theseus is like, why are you here? I come full of vexation. I come with complaint against my child, my daughter Hermia. Come forth, Lysander, my gracious Duke. This man hath bewitched my child's heart. Thou, Lysander, thou hast given her rhymes. With cunning hast thou stolen my daughter's heart and turned her obedience, which is due to me, to stubborn harshness. So Aegeus is going to the Duke and saying, I am mad. I'm complaining against my daughter because I want her to marry Demetrius and she is not following my orders. she is in love with Lysander and telling me that she is not going to marry Demetrius. Come forth, Demetrius. And then, so he's speaking to Theseus. My noble lord, this man has my consent to marry her. If she will not here before your grace consent to marry Demetrius, I beg the ancient law of Athens. So now this is where her own dad is saying, I want her to marry Demetrius, and if she doesn't marry Demetrius, then she can either choose to die or become a nun. Now, what father would do that nowadays time, right? But this is in the 1500s. As she is mine, I may dispose of her, either to this gentleman Demetrius or to her death. So it is according to law. Theseus says, what say you, Hermia? Be advised, fair maid. To you, your father should be as a god, and Demetrius is a worthy gentleman. So Theseus is saying, why, Hermia, are you choosing to fight your dad? And a fair maid, these are called women maids, and her skin is light, so it's fair. Excuse me. And it says, you should respect your father. And who cares? Anyways, Demetrius, he's a very worthy gentleman. He's first class, just like you are. So you should like him. And Hermia says, so is Lysander. In himself he is. But without your father's blessing, the other must be held the worthier. So he's saying, yes, he's first class too, and he's just as fine of a guy. But your father says you have to marry Demetrius, so you must marry Demetrius, who your father says. Hermia says, I beg your grace that I may know the worst that may befall me if I refuse to wed Demetrius. Your choice is either to die or to leave forever the society of men. If you do not yield to your father's choice, you have done the dress of a nun. Remain within the walls of a shady cloister and there live in a barren sister all your life. So Theseus is saying, well, here's your choice. You can marry Demetrius, you can die, or you can become a nun, which means you'll be married to God and you'll be in a little dark room the rest of your life praying to God. And Hermia says, so I will grow, so live, so die, my lord, before I yield to Demetrius. So she's saying, you know what? I don't want to marry him. I take the dying part, the death. I will die. And Theseus says, oh, hold on. Take time to consider, Hermia. By the next new moon, the wedding day between my love and me, either prepare to die for disobedience to your father's will, or else to wed Demetrius, as your father would have you, or to take on the habit of the nun and embrace single life. And the habit of the nun is the little black little head dress skirt she wears. So he's saying, whoa, before you make any hasty decisions there, Hermia, about choosing to die, you need to, my wedding's in 4 days, which is the next new moon. You have till then to decide if you'd like to marry Demetrius, or you can go ahead and you can marry, you can die, choose death, or become a nun. That will be your choice. But wait, don't make your decision now too quick. You need to wait and think about this so you don't make the wrong decision. And then Demetrius says, relent, sweet Hermia, Lysander, yield to my certain rights. And Demetrius is basically saying, oh, sweet Hermia, change your mind. And Lysander's saying, and Demetrius is saying, Lysander, give her up, she's mine. And Lysander says, my lord, I am as well born as he, and as wealthy. My love is more than his, and which is more than all of these boasts. I love by the beauteous Hermia. And Theseus says, I must confess that I have heard this. And with Demetrius thought to speak, but being over full of self-affairs, I did forget. So Lysander's saying, no, Theseus, I have been in love with Hermia and we have been dating. And Theseus is like, you know what? I remember that. I knew that y'all were dating, but if her dad wants her to marry Demetrius, then, and Demetrius is okay with it, then she has to. Now here's the one thing I did forget. If the guy, he has the right to choose. So if Demetrius would have told, if Aegeus would have said, I want you to marry my daughter, and Demetrius would have said, no, I'm dating someone else, I don't want to, it would have been perfectly fine, and Aegeus could have went on his way and no one would have been in trouble. But the fact, when Aegeus asked Demetrius, and Demetrius changed his mind about Helena and is like, yeah, sure, I'll marry your daughter. Well, that changed everything because he said yes, then they have to go with it. So Theseus says, but Demetrius, come Aegeus, you shall go with me. I have some private words for both of you. So Theseus, the Duke, calls Demetrius and calls Hermia's father Aegeus on with him and leaves Lysander and Hermia alone. Lysander and now Hermia are alone, going to get ready to talk. It says, me, for all I ever read, in tale or in history, the course of true love never did run smooth. And Hermia says, if then true lovers have been ever crossed, it stands as a rule of destiny. Then let us learn patience, because it is customary cross, as much as part of love is thoughts, and dreams and sighs and wishes and tears. So Hermia and Lysander are talking and saying, Lysander says, all true love has few bumps in the road. And Hermia is saying, and I love you so much. And Lysander says, I have a plan, Hermia, therefore hear me. I have a widow aunt of great wealth. She hath no child. From Athens is her house remote 7 leagues. She respects me as her only son. There, gentle Hermia, may I marry thee? And to that place, the sharp Athenian law cannot follow us. So apparently this Athenian law about you either have to marry who your dad says or die or become a nun, which of course Shakespeare made up, is only in Athens. And Lysander has a widow aunt, and a widow aunt means that her husband died, but she has lots of money because see, you don't want to change classes. So if they were to run away without a plan and go somewhere, then they would turn into 3rd class, and they certainly don't want that. So he's saying, I have an aunt who's like my mom, and she has lots of money. She doesn't have any children, so all of it, she thinks of me as her child, it will go to me. We can run away to her house and get married there, because then this Athenian law can't follow us. If thou lovest me, then steal forth from thy father's house tomorrow night, and in the wood outside the town, where I did meet thee once with Helena, there will I wait for thee. So he's saying, if you love me, then run away with me and meet me in the woods right outside of town, where I ran into you and Helena one time. And Hermia says, my good Lysander, I swear to thee by Cupid's strongest bow, by his best arrow with the golden head, by all the vows that ever men have broke, in number more than ever spoke, in that same place thou has appointed me. Tomorrow truly will I meet with thee. And so Hermia, all that, says, of course I'll meet you there. I love you. And now here comes Helena. Helena, you call me fair when it is your fair beauty Demetrius loves. Your eyes are stars, your tongue is sweet music, sickness is catching. Oh, wear beauty so. Oh, teach me how you look. Oh, with what art you sway the motion of Demetrius's heart. Now, mind you, Demetrius and Helena were dating, just like Hermia and Lysander. All of a sudden, Aegeus is asked Demetrius if he'll marry his daughter, and he dumps Helena, and she has no idea why. She's like, I don't know what's wrong. And all she knows is that he likes Hermia now. And so she's very confused, but also very angry. And Hermia says, I frown upon him, yet he loves me still. So Hermia is like, I don't like him. I'm mean to him, and he still loves me. And then Helena says, oh, that your frowns would teach my smiles such skill. And so then Hermia says, I give him curses, yet he gives me love. And Helena says, oh, that my prayers could such affection move. And then Lysander says, Helena, we will unfold to you our plan. Tomorrow night, when the moon will hide our flight, we will steal away through the gates of Athens. And then Hermia joins in and says, and in the wood where you and I often meet, so often lay upon the primrose bed, emptying our hearts of their sweet secrets, because remember, they were best friends, the girls were. There my Lysander and I myself shall meet, to leave Athens forever. Farewell, sweet playfellow, pray for us, and good luck grant thee thy Demetrius. So Lysander and Hermia said, you know what? Lysander sees Helena is so upset about Demetrius, and He wanted her to know, look, we're going to take care of this. We have a plan. We're going to meet in the woods where y'all usually meet, and we're going to run away and get married. You would think it would make Helena happy about this, right? She's getting rid of Hermia. Hermia's gone, and she can marry Demetrius again. But then Lysander says, Helena, adieu. As you on him, may Demetrius dote on you. So he's saying goodbye, and he's saying, I hope Demetrius loves you like you love him. Helena, no. Hermia and Lysander exit, leaving Helena to her own troubled thoughts. She and Hermia have been friends all of their lives. Like I said, they're best friends. But now she is jealous of Demetrius's love for her friend. So Helena is now doing, those were dialogues because all of the characters were talking to each other. Now this is a monologue because she's telling her thoughts out loud. Helena says, through Athens, I am thought as fair as Hermia. But what of that? Demetrius thinks not so. Before Demetrius looked into Hermia's eyes, he called down oaths that he was mine alone. So she's saying, I am just as pretty as Hermia. And right before Demetrius started liking Hermia, he was in love with me. What's wrong with me? Why did he stop liking me? And so here's the picture. And you see, this is Lysander and Hermia, and this is Helena, and they're all talking right before Lysander and Hermia left. And then it says, this is still Helena, remember, she thinks of a plan. She will tell Demetrius that Lysander and Hermia plan to run away and marry. Now, here they told her their plan because they thought she'd be happy. Oh yes, I've got them out of the way. I can have Demetrius for myself. But instead, she thinks of a plan that she needs to go tell Demetrius. She says, I will go tell Demetrius of Hermia's flight. Tomorrow night, he will pursue her to the wood. And for this piece of news, he will give me thanks. And I will win him back again for my own. So she's like, I don't want to win him back just because Hermia is leaving. I want to win him back because he loves me. So I'm going to go tell him that Hermia and Lysander are running away. And then he's going to forget about her and thank me for telling them. So we will read scene 2 tomorrow. But this is scene 1. I hope you understand those notes that I put in here. This is your Google Classroom. So I said, hi, I'm sorry we missed you today. We first listened to the music, and I put it in here for you to listen to a little Shakespearean music if you like. And then you're going to click on the video about Shakespeare for kids for his life, and then his Globe Theater. And then finally, you'll watch this video. And then at the end of the unit, I will go ahead and put in the notes in the book in case you want to look at it yourself for Act 1, Scene 1. I hope you enjoyed it today, boys and girls. Talk to you later. Bye.